Welcome back. In this lesson we are going to talk about the simplest loop that will help us to deal with arrays. So I prepared the script where I have those two arrays that we used in the previous lesson. I just moved the definition of the lucky numbers array to the top, and in the start method we are just assigning values to those two arrays. So we have one array of type string where we initialize it by adding some elements straight away to it, and in the second array of type integer we initialized our array and gave a number of elements that we're going to hold in it, and after that we just assign some value to that array through the index numbers. So there were two different methods of creating arrays. So it's good to know both of them. But now let's get into the for each loop. So thanks to the for each loop, we can just print all the names, for example, at the same time, or we can add all the numbers and then divide by the length of that array to get some average number. So let's do both of those tasks and see how does it work. So let's go below and see how for each loop is structured. So just type for each, and now we have to open parentheses, and we are going to iterate through the array to display all the names. So names are of type string, so we have to provide that type, which is string, and now let's call it a name. This is just iteration name. It can be called anything you want. It might be even called an I, which is quite common with loops. So let's leave it an I. And now we have to specify where those elements are. So they are in students. So just type it in students. And now we have to open the curly brackets and specify what want we do with those names. So for now, we want to display them in the console. So just say print, and now we want to print those i's, because the for each loop and any other loop will just iterate all over again till it reaches the last element. So in the first loop, it will take the first element in students and print it. So I holds the first element. Then in the second go, this I will hold the Bob. So Bob will be printed. Next loop, Jack is printed. Next loop, an I will hold Chris. So this will be printed, and so on and so on. So let's save it, open the console tab and press play. And open the console, and as you can see, we've got all names printed out. So this is how the loops are so helpful and so easy to use. Thanks to 2 lines of code, we had all the names listed in our console. So now let's maybe do something more. Let's just sort them alphabetically and print them once more. Let's do it. So in order to sort them, we have to use system.array, and now we have to use sort method, and inside the parentheses we have to provide an array we want to sort, and we want to sort students. So just use that, and after we sort it, we can print them. So maybe I will just cut it and paste it below, and if we go back to Unity, press play, now we should see all the names printed in the alphabetical order, A, B, C, and yes, D, and so on. So it's working fine. Look how easy it is with the loops. So now maybe I'll leave it as it is, and let's focus on the numbers. For now, let's just print all of those numbers. How to do it? Use for each. And now, because numbers are of type integer, we have to use an int. So say int, use an I, and we have to specify where these elements are. They are in the array of name lucky numbers. So say in lucky numbers. And now open the curly brackets, and inside we want to print them. So just print and state the I variable. Just save it and just go back to Unity, press play, and we will see all the names printed because this is how we structured our code. So first we sort it and then print all the names, and then we print all the numbers. So as you can see, here we have 12, 16, 18, 23, 56 and 24. I would like to show you now how to sort those numbers in the reverse order. So they will be from the biggest numbers to the lowest numbers. So let's sort an array. We just use system and then array and sort. Now we have to specify the name of the array, which is lucky number. For now, our array will be sorted from the lowest to the highest, but we want to reverse it. So in order to reverse it, just use system, array and reverse. And now specify which one is to be reversed, which is lucky numbers. So now once it's reversed, it should be printed from the biggest to the lowest numbers. So let's go to Unity and press play. So now we have all the names, and if we go down, we have 56, 54, 24, 23, 18, 16 and 12. So it's working totally fine. So in the end, I just want to show you how to take an average number out of it, and it might be a bit more difficult. I leave sorting as they are, I leave those as well, and now let's create a new for each loop. In order to do this task, we need to specify some new variable that will hold the result of adding all those numbers together. So just create an integer number, and I will call it maybe the sum, and at the beginning it would be equal to 0 because we will start from the 0. And now we will use for each loop, and we want to use elements of type integer, call them I, and they are placed in lucky numbers. And now on each iteration we want to add those values to this sum. So we have sum of all of those numbers. So sum plus equals I. Every time the loop goes over, this sum will be increased by those values that are in the array. In the end, we want to display the average of those all numbers. So we can print and use the sum, but we have to divide it by the number of all elements, and we have 6 elements. So just do it like this and just save it and go back to Unity, press play and go to the very bottom, and here we have 24 and we have a whole number, but this is something not correct. So in order to receive the result with some decimal points, we have to put this value as a float. So now if we save it and go back and press play again, we get correct result. And there is a plenty of other uses for arrays that we will show you very soon. But as you can see, using arrays and loops with it is a really powerful way of making the programmer's life much easier.